Hello, ladies and gentlemen, what is up? And welcome back to the Beatles channel. Today, you're in a retrospective of the Beatles. This is where you find my thoughts on all the Beatles albums. I'm not going to go into the best songs, as WatchMojo.com already did that. That's all. You can tell. You can find a whole bunch of lists. I'm just going into their albums and doing my picky apart thing and the whole facts about it. So, yeah. Let's get started with their first album. Please, please me.
Be true, so please.
As their first album, the Beatles released Please Please Me. This is 1963 on this on vinyl. There is many reasons. If the Beatles are overrated, this is kind of to blame. It's the first album. There's a couple bluffs on here, and they're the covers and some originals. I'm not really a fan of Baby It's You, nor am I a fan of Ask Me Why, or Do You Want to Know a Secret. All those songs really do nothing for me. On the flip side, some of my favorite songs are Misery, Anna Goddam, and Chains. Boys is another song. It's sung by Ringo with a very weird punchline for him, because it's Ringo Starr, so they have to add just a tiny bit, they did a tad bit of weirdness. Like, I mean, they did this with the Beatles song too, and then it didn't appear on A Hard Day's Night. They did it again on Beatles for Sale, and then they stopped on Help. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Please Please Me, I saw her standing there, Twist and Shout, Love Me Do. Everybody knows all of those songs. They're like the hits of this album. Not really a big fan of Love Me Do as much, although I still do like it. Same thing with Twist and Shout. I think the standout of the hits would be the title track, Please Please Me. Although I saw her standing there, it does give it a run for its money. Then we have P.S. I Love You, which is just really great. I quite enjoy P.S. I Love You, actually. And A Taste of Honey, along with There's a Place. A Taste of Honey is one of my favorite Paul McCartney songs from the early era. The harmonies are really great on A Taste of Honey, and I quite enjoy that song. There's a Place, I think, is very underrated. It's a great song with a great chorus line in it. But overall, Please Please Me. I mean, if you are like a hardcore Beatles fan, I would start here, but I mean, I'd recommend starting on an album coming up instead of this one, mostly because there's a couple. This thing was recorded in 11 hours, so over 3 sessions, and then at the end, John Lennon lost his voice, so they couldn't do another recording of Twist and Shout. So technically, Please Please Me is, I just find it good.
Treasure these few words till we're together.
So the band next came out with also 1963 release with the Beatles. Also, I don't know the Beatles albums, by the way. This thing, it dropped even more in quality, low-key, to be honest. There's some songs here, like I Wanna Be Your Man is one of my least favorite Beatles songs ever. Really unremarkable song covers like Till There Was You and Roll Over Beethoven. On the other hand, you had some really good original songs like Oh My Loving, Not a Second Time, Don't Bother Me, It Won't Be Long, All I've Got to Do. The covers of Money and Devil in Her Heart are really fantastic in my opinion, along with the Please Mr. Postman cover, which might be my favorite song on here. Little Child I find many people not disliking because, it's kind of redundant, although I do enjoy it. You Really Got a Hold on Me is a Motown cover. It's not my favorite song off this album. I mean, it's just a part of the album for me. The other song I forgot to mention was Hold Me Tight and I quite enjoy this one. Many people dislike this one because, it's just a tacky And from Please Please Me. Well, actually, I quite enjoy Paul's Nazy vocals on it, as it gives it more of a feel of the album. Anyways, overall, this album is just okay. It's good. Although I would also not start here.
But your loving don't pay my bills now. Don't know what it means. But when I get home to you, I find the things that you do will make me feel.
As their first soundtrack comes around, their first soundtrack album comes around, 1964's A Hard Day's Night is up next. And I quite find I would definitely like start here. This is the first album that I think is they start to actually grow a little bit in. Obviously, you got the title track, you got Can't Buy Me Love. Can't Buy Me Love would be my favorite out of the two, but then you got the underrated gems like I'll Cry Instead, Things We Said Today, I'll Be Back, You Can't Do That, If I Fell, I'm Happy to Dance with You, I Love and I Love Her. I Should Have Known Better is a pretty catchy harmonica riff throughout it. Tell Me Why. I love the three people harmonies on there. They did that on This Boy, and that was with the Beatles single, along with I Wanna Hold Her Hand. That was also with the Beatles single. I find This Boy better than I Wanna Hold Her Hand. And then I forgot to mention From Me to You is my favorite of the singles. Like I'll Get You, Thank You Girl, and She Loves You. I couldn't get in to, but I got into From Me to You quite quickly. When I get home, I mean, it's enjoyable for what it is. I love the chorus on it, although some of the lyrics can get a little stale. Anytime at all, I mean, anytime at all is just been repeated in the lyrics multiple times. It kind of drops down a little bit for me, but I still quite enjoy it. Anyways, this album is a must-have. Isn't it the best Beatles album? No. Is it is my favorite early album? Also no. That'd be my second favorite early album though. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it.
Everybody tells me so. Can buy me life. Whoa, whoa, 8 days a week. 8 days a week.
So they came back in December of '64 to release us Beatles for Sale, and yeah, it's a gatefold. I completely don't know why it's a gatefold. This is my least favorite album besides yeah, this thing. I mean, I do enjoy the songs of No Reply and I'm a Loser. I think they get underlooked. Babies in Black also gets a little bit underlooked, although it's not really that great of a song. I mean, I do enjoy it, but then you have covers like Mr. Moonlight, which I see a lot of hate for, I don't know, and then why. Honey Don't is trash. I do agree with that. Not a big fan of Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby either, but I've seen many, yeah, people don't like that. What You're Doing is really good. Original piece. What I find interesting is on Every Little Thing, Paul writes the song, but then John sings lead on the song. And you got another pretty good cover in Rock and Roll Music. I'll Follow the Sun is a short, sweet, and to the point Paul McCartney song. I'm not gonna say it's my favorite, but Kansas City / Hey 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 is a more rocker cover. I'm kind of neutral about them adding that in. 8 Days a Week is obviously the head off this album and is one of my favorites on the album. I see people not like Words of Love. I love Words of Love. I like the harmonies on it. It's just a mellow song. I like listening to songs like that, especially between 8 Days a Week and To Trash Honey Don't. I don't want to spoil the party. It's another one of those songs, but it's sandwiched in between Every Little Thing and What You're Doing, which are two better songs than it. So I'm not gonna say don't listen to this album. I mean, I still listen to it and I own it on record. I love. In fact, I quite enjoy this album. Although it's just pleasable.
Another man in my place. I pray and pray more each day, 'cause we love you. Insecure. I know that I just need your light. I never.
The band showed a really natural progression from A Hard Day's Night to Beatles for Sale. I think that they kind of bring back the A Hard Day's Nightness in my favorite pre-Rubber Soul Beatles album, aka the early years, Help. This thing is country, but it fuses together a sound of Hard Day's Night and Beatles for Sale, the '64 albums, into the early '65 album, aka the last early Beatles album. Help, Yesterday, Ticket to Ride, and You Got to Hide Your Love Away are the smash hits off this album. Some I love more than others, aka Help and Ticket to Ride I love more than Yesterday, and You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, though, is ranked pretty high. I Need You as well as You Like Me Too Much. I mean, You Like Me Too Much and I Need You both get underlooked a lot as George Harrison songs. I quite enjoy those. It's Only Love, You're Gonna Lose That Girl. Lennon was on fire here. Also, Paul McCartney brought us I've Just Seen a Face, which is a great acoustic guitar song with Paul, John, and George, I believe, are all on acoustic guitars. Tell Me What You See. I mean, I've never seen anyone go out and say they love this song, but I quite do, actually. Then you have the cover Act Naturally, which is one of my favorite Ringo songs. If you haven't seen the video, make sure you go check it out. It's the second one, my second favorite. Then we have the McCartney pairing of Another Girl and The Night Before. Now, these two pair really well together because they're just McCartney pop rock songs. I quite enjoy both of them. I quite love both of them. Anyways, this is my favorite early Beatles album.
She's got a ticket to ride. When I think of love as something new.
It's really hard to believe that the band releasing Love Me Do and Please Please Me, a singles 3 years ago, has now moved on to Rubber Soul. You could see natural improvements of sound going up and up, and it got the highest it could ever get. Uh, in the early, it's even high so far in their discography on this album. Now, this album is not as experimental as the albums we're going to get into after this. Although I do quite enjoy most of the songs. If you looked at all my song rankings, Rubber Soul had the top spot on all four of those five lists, and out of the first three lists I did, no song got below number 10, of course, until Paul McCartney and John Lennon. But that's because they have a big song discography on their hands. Anyways, Norwegian Wood, you could obviously tell this is the song that introduces the sitar to George Harrison, which he got introduced on the Help movie to it. The volume pedal guitar that appeared on I Need You came back on Wait. I do enjoy Wait. My least favorite song on here is our Girl in Harmonies on Nowhere Man, although the lyrics kind of, bring it down a little bit for me. Think for Yourself is a really great George Harrison song, along with his other track on here, If I Needed Someone. They both bring in some pretty interesting bird guitar riffs on If I Needed Someone, and the fuzz bass gets introduced for the first time ever on Think for Yourself. That's pretty cool. Ringo's What Goes On is my favorite Ringo song. I'm Looking Through You and You Won't See Me are usually paired together because they're both about Jane Asher, like What You're Doing and Every Little Thing and For No One. The Michelle came from their earlier part of their career, it was just a mellow song with pretty good harmonies. The word is it has cheesy lyrics, but man, that's what makes it for me. The cheesy lyrics. Run for Your Life has threatening lyrics, and I see many people dislike it for those reasons. But I actually think it's my favorite John Lennon track. Close with that though is In My Life. That's a really great track. I love In My Life. In My Life is very in depth and emotional. And the George Martin plays the piano, but it's sped up, so it kind of sounds like a harpsichord. But no, it's just a sped up piano, which means that they introduced another thing on here, along with the guitar, the fuzz bass, and now you got this. And it's a very inventive album. The only song I haven't talked about is "Drive My Car," and I actually quite enjoy that one as well. It's a Paul McCartney-led song that carries things over from Help into the psychedelic era as well. And it's about someone driving someone else. It's a gender role flip. So the girl saying, "You can drive my car." So yeah, Rubber Soul is a very high arcing achievement.
Hide your head in the sand, little girl. Catch you with another man. All around the people, but do they all belong?
The band showed even more steps up in their next album, 1966's Revolver. This is psychedelic. This thing has Tomorrow Never Knows on it. Many people who know Tomorrow Never Knows know it's also not my favorite song on here. I think it's a little overrated, but I do enjoy listening to it. That we also get three of George Harrison originals: Taxman, Love You Too, and I Want to Tell You. I Want to Tell You and Taxman are good. Love You Too is one of my favorite George Harrison songs, like ever. So that shows something. Along with Think for Yourself, Cracker Box Palace, Only a Northern Song, and My Sweet Lord. You know, Pity. There's a whole bunch. Yellow Submarine is a very popular Ringo Starr song written by Lennon and McCartney. Uh, it's a children's song. Eleanor Rigby, Here, There, and Everywhere. Good Day Sunshine, For No One, and Got to Get You Into My Life introduced Paul McCartney to the psychedelic era. Some more psychedelic than others, obviously. Got to Get You Into My Life was the most psychedelic. Eleanor Rigby had a whole bunch of chords and strings. Here, There, and Everywhere was a nice ballad. For No One was a dark and depressing song, but I still enjoyed it for the whole 2 minutes it was on. It was the last song written about Jane Ashford. Good Day Sunshine is an upbeat and just cheery song. Now let's get into John Lennon. John Lennon had the most psychedelic pieces on this whole album. I'm Only Sleeping introduced backwards masking. I love I'm Only Sleeping. This song is like my she said. Great chorus and no Paul McCartney on it. I love the George Harrison backing vocals, harmony vocals. And Your Bird Can Sing is a fun and playful song, which I quite enjoy the guitar on it as well. Dr. Robert, again, nice guitar and very psychedelic. And obviously, as I said before, Tomorrow Never Knows. Revolver is a big step up from Rubber Soul. And a big step up was from Hell, and then, backwards and backwards. So, they keep getting better and better on the spectrum. We have hit the most psychedelic Beatles album ever. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. This is a big step up from the last, all of the last albums. This thing is like a concert in one. I want to say it's overrated. I mean, I do think it's a little overrated, but I still love it. From when it starts off with the Paul McCartney's Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and then it goes to the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band reprise. I obviously like the original more than the reprise, but yeah. Then we have Fixing a Hole, Getting Better, Lovely Rita, When I'm 64, obviously from McCartney. Some are McCartney sweet, while some have McCartney humor. McCartney humor on songs like Lovely Rita, while McCartney sweet on When I'm 64. Random song, Fixing a Hole. It's psychedelic, and it's Paul McCartney. And it's like a song on the next album, The Fool on the Hill, which I think they're very underrated. Many people spot out Good Morning, Fixing a Hole, When I'm 64, and Lovely Rita as two of those could be replaced. Sometimes people say Fixing a Hole and Good Morning. Sometimes people say Lovely Rita and When I'm 64. Sometimes people mix those around, but it's always just those four songs because I think they're the weakest on the album. I love all four of the songs, although I would agree that I actually think that the title track or some of the hits are the weakest. So to be honest, like the title track. But the weakest track on here for me is Within You Without You. I just can't get into it. Although I still sort of like it. It's one of my least. It's my second least favorite George Harrison track song. Then we have Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite, and Good Morning from John Lennon. Very psychedelic pieces, especially Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite at the end. They're literally just chopped up the tapes with the scissors, and then re-put them back together in random spots. The animal noises make it very psychedelic, along with the heavy rock drums on Good Morning, make it very enjoyable. In fact, I think it was my favorite song on Sgt. Pepper. It's by Lennon. And then, of course, Blue Sea in the Sky, Diamonds a hit. It's dropped a little bit for me in the years, but I still love those vocals. And they sound so psychedelic. Then we have the Lennon McCartney masterpiece. They made one. They have two. She's Leaving Home is the one we're going to talk about first. And of course, we're going to save the big gun till the end. But She's Leaving Home, I quite enjoy it. This song, it's a nice, sweet song, but it's also sad at the same time. It's about a girl who ran away. It's a true story. And then John Lennon appears as a parent, and and then we have the Ringo song, With a Little Help from My Friends, also written by Lennon and McCartney. He sings this one beautifully. I I can't say that much about it because I just love it so much. It's one of my favorites on this album. Then we hit A Day in the Life, which is probably the reason why people don't like me. Because I'm not the biggest fan of A Day in the Life, as you can tell. I mean, I still enjoy listening to it. I'll listen to it anytime it's on. I mean, I'll listen to it back to back to back if I really wanted to. And I sometimes do. But I mean, I think it's a little overrated as I like to listen to more songs off this album, I guess. Although I still love it. It's still just a little overrated for me. Anyways, Sgt. Pepper's is the Beatles' masterpiece. Not my favorite Beatles album, but a Beatles masterpiece, among many others. I don't know why I'm covering this in this video, but we're gonna talk about the Magical Mystery Tour LP, full LP instead of the double EP. This has the first 6 songs that came out on the EP, like Magical Mystery Tour, The Fool on the Hill, Flying, Blue Jay Way, Your Mother Should Know, and I Am the Walrus. I'm not the biggest fan of Flying. I love The Fool on the Hill. It's such a sad song about loneliness and depression. I didn't expect that from Paul McCartney, but I got it. But again, I didn't expect For No One from Paul McCartney, and we also got that. Your Mother Should Know is another Paul McCartney sweet song, but I think this is one of his best, if not his actual best, of the sweet songs. I know George and John don't like it because it's too McCartney sweet, but I love it. I'm the Walrus, I think it's a little overrated. Same thing with Magical Mystery Tour. I mean, I still love listening to them, but they just dropped a little bit from my favorites in the years. Blue Jay Way. It's good. Not great, though. Not great. I think that's what I disguised as EPS. Good, not great. But then you get to the bottom side, and you just got this masterpiece of songs like Strawberry Fields Forever, Penny Lane, All You Need Is Love. They're some of my favorite Beatles songs ever. Hello Goodbye is a very great Paul McCartney song, and then we hit Baby You're a Rich Man. I'm not a big fan of Baby You're a Rich Man at all. Flying and another couple other songs on this album that I already explained. Overall, I would disguise this album as good, but not great in the end.
You down, 'cause I'm going to stroll the West behind. And Moscow girls make
Now we hit their most massive album ever released. It's the White Album from 1968. Now they have gone out of the psychedelic era with that album, except for the next album because, it's just extras from the album. But this is where they start their heavy rock phase. Obviously, you can tell by the opening song, Back in the USSR. It's Mom! Got it! Alright. Back in the USSR, this is a very heavy rocker. It's based off some songs by Chuck Berry and another artist. Dear Prunes is a soft and gentle song written by John Lennon, but it fades perfectly from Back in the USSR into it. The third track is another Lennon track, Glass Onion. Now, this thing is like I Am the Walrus. It's made specifically to have confusing lyrics, so Beatles fans won't, try to make the point to make it pretty much a Beatles scavenger hunt. What do the lyrics mean? Obla Di Obla Da is the next track, and I'm not a big fan of that. Neither am I of the fifth track, Wild Honey Pie, both by Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney's dumb pop song, Obla Di Obla Da. I mean, I still would listen to it, but I wouldn't listen to Wild Honey Pie ever. It sounds just bad. No, sounds like Revolution 9. I'll get to that. The continuing story of Bungalow Bill's up next, and I find people hate this. I don't know why. I don't see many people liking this. It's very underrated. Next, we get to the slightly overrated Well My Guitar Gently Weeps. I'm saying that, knowing that I am probably going to get screwed for saying that. But so we close off side one with Happiness is a Warm Gun, and I love Happiness is a Warm Gun. It's very underrated. It's in my top 10 Lennon songs, led by Beatles, and in my top 50 Beatles songs and Lennon songs overall. Then we get Martha My Dear, which kind of sounds like a film soundtrack with a trumpet. The next track is I'm So Tired by John Lennon. It's a bluesy or rockier piece. I love when the chorus comes in, it just gets loud and loud. Very underrated as well, while I think Blackbird is overrated. It's pretty much just Paul McCartney tapping with an acoustic guitar and bird noises and singing. It's a very pop song. Piggies is up next, and it's just a little. I find it the same as Blue Jay Way. Both were written by George Harrison. I had that 22 and 21, I believe. That you can go watch the video and prove I'm wrong. But yeah. 13th track is Rocky Raccoon. I find this a playful track by Paul McCartney there. It doesn't really sound like Paul McCartney looking here in that track. Ringo Starr's first written song for the Beatles, Don't Pass Me By. It's a country song. Really good on here. Very underrated. Then we hit Why Don't We Do in the Road. I don't like that song at all. No. It's very short and very boring. I Will is the opposite of that. It's a short, sweet song, and I quite enjoyed it. We close off the first disc with Julia, which is it's a completely John Lennon acoustic guitar thing. I mean, I'd still listen to it. It's not horrendous, but not my favorite. Side 3 and disc 2 opens up with Birthday. Birthday is I like Birthday. Birthday's cool. It's a nice rock song that brings us into Year Blues. No, I dislike this track. I don't like this track at all. That much. Then we go into Mother Nature's Son, which is another McCartney sweet song, although it's kind of like I Will, where it's really good, unlike Obadi Buddha. Although, I didn't really dislike Obadi Buddha. The next song after that is the very long title, Everybody's Got Something to Hide Except Me and My Monkey, by John Lennon. It's a heavy rock song by him. It's okay. I mean, I'd still listen to it, but it's not anything mind breaking. Unlike the next John Lennon song, "Sexy Sadie." That "Sexy Sadie," it's about Maharishi making some sexual things about Mia Farrow's or something like that. Very underrated. This used to be my favorite Beatles song, along with Andrew Birkin Say. Although it's not my favorite Beatles song anymore. It still is in the top 50, which is a big accomplishment for a band that has 220 songs. Then it moves on to Helter Skelter, which is definitely a metal starter. Yeah, this song is heavy. You got the build up, then you got the great lyrical singing part at the beginning, and then you got the end, which is pretty much just crazy and loud. And then the side closes, if you're on vinyl, with Long, 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 a George Harrison quiet song. And I quite like the song when the chorus hits in. It's been long. The harmonies are great, although it's very quiet. That's all I have to say. Very, very quiet. And it's not one of my favorite George Harrison songs. I just don't know about it. So, if you're on vinyl, you flip over the vinyl. If you're on CD, you don't flip over the CD. That'd be terrible. We start with Revolution 1. It's pretty much just a slowed down version of Revolution. Definitely not my favorite song on here. That moves into Honey Pie, which is definitely a McCartney sweet song. That's exactly what it is. Savoy Truffle is a Harrison rock song. It's very rock. We go into Cry Baby Cry from that. It's a great transition into Paul McCartney snippet of a song and then a John Lennon song. I quite enjoy both of them either way. Then we get to the closing of the album. I'm going to talk about Goodnight first. It's a sweet song. Like, it's not my favorite, definitely not. But it's pretty cool. Revolution 9, the only song I have yet to talk about, is trash. That's all I have to say. I hate it. Yeah, definitely my least favorite Beatles song. I like how I'm so negative. I even dislike it more than all the instrumentals on Yellow Submarine. Anyways, the White Album is a double album, fantastic thing.
Number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9. Oh, live in a yellow submarine, yellow submarine.
We have hit this point. I really don't want to talk about this album. I don't like it. Nope, don't like it. Two re-release songs, Yellow Submarine and All You Need Is Love. I like both of those, but I don't want to listen to them constant times because I have this. A whole side of instrumentals. That's just crazy. No, I don't like it if there's no guitars, great guitar parts, or vocals. Although George Martin does a really good job with some of them, not with others. Although I will say he's a really good orchestrational. I just don't think it belongs on a Beatles song. Now let's get to the actual 4 songs that actually appear on this album. 4 songs that actually appear. Only a Northern Song, and It's All Too Much are by George Harrison. It's All Too Much goes on way too long. But Only a Northern Song is my 3rd favorite George Harrison Beatles vocal, and in my 10th favorite George Harrison song ever. Then we have All Together Now, which I think is very overhated and underrated. I think they're trying to say, it's pretty much just another Octopus's Garden, or which wasn't even made at this time, or Yellow Submarine, but it's not. It's quite playful, and it's by Paul McCartney solo this time. The final song we have yet to talk about is Hey Bulldog, and it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite songs. And there, in the John Lennon discography. I had trouble ranking it though. I don't know why. I love Hey Bulldog. The lyrics are comforting. The piano riff is awesome. There's some pretty good guitar work. The end is crazy and awesome. This is the last psychedelic kind of album because it's just throwaways from their psychedelic years. So yeah, not good at all. Unless if you actually like don't get this. Unless you wanna be a big Beatles fan like me and get it.
All you need is love. All together now. All together now. Right now. Over me.
The trajectory of their final three albums confuses me, as Yellow Submarine is made of songs from that was supposed to be released in 1968, and Let It Be was recorded before Abbey Road, so technically this is the last Beatles album, but I'm still counting Let It Be as it because it was released last. Anyways, Abbey Road from 1969. This is what a way to go out on a high note. This is my favorite. Well, used to be my favorite Beatles album, not anymore, quite a bit, but I still love it. Come Together, Something. Obviously, the two smash hits off of it. Definitely dropped a little bit in years, but still like them. Maxwell Silver Hammer is very underrated, probably because of the lyrics and the fact that it's really kind of happy, although it's kind of negatively like dark. Oh, darling, is called R&B attempts, and it definitely goes over way as well better than it should be because of the vocals. Octopus's Garden is Ringo's second written song in the Beatles catalog, and definitely another playful song, which wouldn't be on that much on this album. And there'd be a couple playful a couple playful songs on the next album later. I Want You, She's So Heavy. This song is so heavy. It's literally 8 minutes long. It's the best long Beatles song because Revolution 9 sucked. And then, of course, the fade out at the end. It's like the Hey Jude fade out. It's such a fantastic fade out. And then, at the end, he just told the engineer to cut the tape, and that was the last time they ever worked together. Damn. Then we had Here Comes the Sun, which is the other George Harrison hit off of here. Many people spout that as one of their favorite songs. It's definitely my favorite popular George Harrison song. Because is the last track before the medley starts, and it's a very beautiful song with gorgeous harmonies. It's written well, and I love the vocals. It's a kind of gives off the psychedelic feel. Then we have the medley, starting off with Paul McCartney's "You Never Give Me Your Money." As you know, it is one of my favorite Paul McCartney tracks. It's really I quite enjoyed it. It kind of segues. It's kind of like a sweet in between a 4 and 5 minute long song. Although my favorite part is the beginning. Piano was really good. So the vocals. Then we have the three John Lennon parts of the medley. Sun King, Me, Mr. Mustard, and Paul and Pam. He said he hated everything in this medley. all the stuff he made for this medley. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of Sun King. I think it ripped off because of the harmony vocals, although nice speaking gibberish at the end. Polythene Pam is in the middle because I like the ending and it's just short. Me, Mr. Mustard, though, is my favorite out of these three. I think it's really good. The shortness of it is really good, but it also has really compelling lyrics that makes you want to listen to the rest of the album. And speaking of which, the rest of the album, the last 5 songs, are all Paul McCartney. Starting with She Came In Through the Bathroom Window. That's more of a heavy rock song by Paul McCartney, and it also has a whip featured in it. That's kind of cool. And it's made about fans breaking Paul McCartney's house. That's a pretty cool talk to write about. Then we have the Golden Slumbers and Carry That Weight in the End duo. Golden Slumbers is a nicely sung piano short song with great orchestrational in the background. Carry That Weight has all four members singing. You can really hear Ringo, like on Flying. And then we had The End, which is not the end. I'm literally not joking. This is not even the end song. And they still released a whole album after that. So they released 13 songs after this. But this thing has a solo by every band member except for George Michael. Even Ringo, he does a solo. And then the end, in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. That's probably one of my favorite lyrics ever. And then it ends on Her Majesty. Just a 30-second song. Not really a big fan of it, especially the loud chord at the beginning. Yeah. Anyways, this is definitely a must-have in your collection if you're collecting all the Beatles vinyls.
You're writing 50 times, I must not. There will be an answer, let it be.
Abbey Road should have been the end, but oh wait, it wasn't. Let It Be was the final Beatles album released. This thing is very confusing and mixed and confusing again. Um, yeah, you got 7 of the songs are normal the way that they were meant to be. They added 2 songs and got rid of another good song for 2 bad songs. Maggie May and Dig It. At least said that, my name would come to number on it. The Long and Winding Road. I really dislike the way I just don't like Phil Spector's additions to Let It Be. I guess. Let It Be. Let It Be is Let It Be. It'll be a legacy track even without Phil Spector. Same thing with The Long and Winding Road. I think it's very overrated though. Even as without Phil Spector, it's kind of overrated. Look, to be honest to me, because without Phil Spector, it'd be boring. But then he messed up. So you can some of the vocals here. He was the one that put Dig It and Maggie May on here. Two of Us is a nice song about Paul McCartney and Linda Eastman riding off into the sunset in a car. Dig a Pony. John Lennon wrote this song. He didn't like it that much because he said the lyrics were crap. Kind of do agree with him, but I still love the song. Across the Universe was also written by John Lennon. And this is one of my favorite John Lennon led Beatles songs, and John Lennon songs of all time. It's just so nice and soothing before you get to the dark and heavy, kind of sort of heavy actually. I Mean Mine. I Mean Mine is one of my favorite Harrison Beatles songs. It kind of follows the same path of Let It Be, but it didn't. Speaking of which, Let It Be, I've got a feeling this song is kind of underrated and overrated at the same time. I think it's properly rated, actually. Paul McCartney leads it's kind of heavy rock with Paul McCartney, but then kind of gets weirded up with John Lennon's part. So. For You Blue, no way. This song is better than Old Brown Shoe. I mean, it's not my favorite song on here, and you can tell it was made at the very end to just add a song on the album, but I still think it's pretty good. Many people don't think so, but I do. And then Get Back. I don't know why, but they made that the final song. Maybe it's because of the audition part. But I thought that Get Back would be the opener of the album, and then The Long Winding Road be the closer. That'd be great. Or Get Back would close side 1, and then Long Winding Road would close side 2. And then we could have Two of Us open side 1. And then add Don't Let Me Down back on and open up side 2. But Get Back, nice heavy rock song with Billy Preston on keys. He was a very big help, especially on I Want You So Heavy from Abbey Road. So, yeah, Let It Be is a decent part of their discography.
Back to where you once belonged. BB King.
So that was the artist retrospective of the Beatles. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and comment below, and share the video. Comment below what you think of everything, and also join all my social medias. I'll link on my homepage in the About section, and see you guys in the next Beatles video.